Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Secretary, for being here. First of all, there's a couple of things I want to go from West Virginia. It's a little bit different being out west, but we're still wild and wonderful.
I consider you out west, sir.
First of all, you've covered the payment in lieu of taxes, and that's very important for our state and some of our rural counties, because they really depend on it, and the reduction hits them very, very hard. So first of all, on the coal, you all have been very supportive of the coal industry and the people that do this tremendous work for the people of this country. I'm confused a little bit to why the President's budget of 2018 proposed 134 million payments to the United Mine Workers of America from the health benefit plans from the Treasury. Those are coming from, some money distributed from Office of Surface Mining, Reclamation, and Enforcement. That's a $45 million reduction from the 2016. And I don't know if you all, we just passed a piece of legislation, put 22,000 miners in the 1993 fund. We're going to be in serious problems here because that AML distribution for the abandoned mine land monies and the Treasury, I don't know if you all have looked at that, of what challenges it might cause for you.
Oh, we did, sir. And again, I'll go back. This is a starting point. And
Okay.
Chairman Rogers of the House side, also is
Hal watches it very closely.
very focused
Yes.
on this issue. And what I'd say, I look forward to working with you on it. But I understand certainly the rub.
You see the concern. You see the concern we have right now, being able to meet the demands that we have.
I do, and I've long respected Chairman Rogers, and I think he does a great job.
Well, if you'll work with us on that and make sure that our miners don't get shortchanged, we'd be very appreciative. We're going to be working together with you on that. Let me go over to something as far as in our national forest. I'm told that 50% of our nation's forests are privately owned, but over 90% of the timber for our country comes from that 50%. That means that the remainder of the properties that we have in national forest, public lands, about 10% comes from them. Why are we not able to harvest or look at harvesting financially, especially because we're losing a lot of the forest from maturing and falling and strikes by lightning and things of this sort? I think we could do a much better job of managing our forest, also protecting the forest, but also having the revenue that would come from it. Just the 3% comes from the national forest in West Virginia. That provides about 43,000 jobs.
I could not agree with you more, sir. It has been an area of frustration before I was in Congress. The Forest Service alone has about 71 million acres of dead and dying timber that should be removed. We spend billions of dollars each year fighting forest fires, and yet we can't harvest trees. In our holdings, only a small percentage is actually available for timber harvest because it's locked up, either habitat, the spotted owl, or different species. And so our ability to even go forward on a sustainable yield basis, we're going to need some help legislatively to work through it. There's a case that we're watching closely that will go to I think in the Ninth Circuit, that looks at the different balance between legislative intent on sustainable yield, vice habitat and other things. But we're looking at it, and my commitment is to make sure we have a healthy forest, and a healthy forest is making sure that we are at sustainable or as close as we can, and remove the dead and dying timber and have a healthy timber industry.
Do people just defy the accuracy or the logic of this, that don't want anything touched in these? And these are pristine areas, I understand, but still, yet if I'm going to preserve a pristine area, I'm going to make sure that we're able to allow it to flourish, to flourish and grow. And dying timber does absolutely the opposite.
Well, we live in a great nation of a lot of opinions, and there are some that believe in the theory of natural regulation, more in the mirror model, where man's an observer and lightest footprint, and they're more than content of watching our forests burn down year after year. I sit in the Pinchot model of using science and multiple use for most of our holdings, which includes timber harvest. But you have to do it right, and there's been mistakes in the past, but we have great people that know how to harvest timber.
My final thing, real quick, my time's running out, is the AML, the abandoned mine land, again, the funds, what we're using them for and the purpose. A lot of that was for basically revitalizing. The Power Plus plan was to revitalize some of these areas that lost so much. And the President's budget proposes eliminating the Abandoned Mine Lands Economic Development Pilot Program. I would hope you would look at that, sir, before you all make that step, because these communities that gave so much to this great country need a little bit of assistance to get back up on their feet. And eliminating that would be very harmful to them.
My commitment is to work within that, and Chairman Rogers also talked to me point blank on that one too, and I respect him. But most of all, I respect jobs, and I respect hardworking people. And whether it's coal or logging or just people putting things together in the manufacturing industry, I come from 3 generations of plumbers. I just like people that work, and so does the President. Thank you, sir.